Hello and a very good evening from BBC London News. I'm Riz Latif. The government has launched an inquiry into the tower block fire in South London, which claimed the lives of 6 people, including 3 children, on Friday. Questions are being raised about the building's design, and neighbours in similar blocks are now concerned for their own safety. Mike Ramsden reports.
The fire shouldn't have been able to spread between floors for an hour. Firefighters were on scene in 15 minutes. So how did 6 people die? The questions are growing with the tributes to those who died.
It's a death trap. I've been all over the state and every building you look upon, high-rising building, there are fire escape. And I hardly see any here. They just don't care. They just chuck down people in there like pigs.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
The mayor was at Peckham Fire Station today to thank the crews who rescued 30 people. All those who died were on the 11th floor. 2 women with 3 children, 1 a newborn baby, were sheltering in the same bathroom.
Obviously, we will be looking at safety. We'll be looking at why there were 6 casualties, and clearly the issue of building design is uppermost in people's minds.
Lakanal House is a 14-storey block but has just 1 central staircase. The fire broke out at 4:20 on Friday on the 9th floor before spreading 2 floors higher. This is where the 6 victims were found. Debris then set fire to a flat on the 7th floor and then one on the 5th floor.
I think people will want to know that any lessons which can be learned from this terrible tragedy are learned quickly and made available. So I've asked Sir Ken Knight, who's my Chief Fire Advisor, to keep in regular contact with the inquiries that are going on and get back to me and report to me as soon as there are any clear emerging findings.
3 days after the fire, there are still crucial questions unanswered. Why did the fire spread so quickly? And could it happen again in other tower blocks in London? In a neighbouring block of a similar design, just 200 metres away, residents received this leaflet just yesterday. Escaping from a high rise. Perhaps better late than never. Mike Ramsden, BBC London News.
The government's independent terror expert Lord Carlisle says he has concerns that planes taking off from small airfields could be used as weapons by terrorists. He wants a code of conduct introduced to tighten up security. This report from our transport correspondent Tom Edwards.
Biggin Hill Airport, small, busy and convenient for the traveller with a bit of money or their own private jet. And here, security's a priority.
Baggage would be taken off them and put through the screening process, and then hand baggage would be brought over here, presented over here, and that goes through the X-ray machine, and then they walk through the metal detector as they would normally, maybe a body search through there if necessary.
But when using and hiring very small planes under a certain weight, by law you don't have to be vetted. It can come down to the discretion of the airfield owner. Here they have the resources and are vigilant. But there's concern that might not always be the case. There are hundreds of small airstrips across the country, some just grass fields with very little security. Not all smaller airports are as strict with their security as they are here at Biggin Hill Airport. And while there's no specific intelligence, the government's terrorism watchdog does have concerns. Lord Carlisle says he wants a code of conduct for all small airfields.
My plea is for the small aircraft industry, particularly those who charter small planes, to adopt really good practice to ensure that they know who they're taking on their aircraft, that they identify who they're taking on their aircraft, and that if they have any concerns whatsoever, they report them to the police.
The Home Office says security is continuously under review, and procedures can be changed to reflect the latest situation. Tom Edwards, BBC London News.
A memorial of 52 stainless steel pillars is being unveiled tomorrow in memory of those killed in the July the 7th bombings in London 4 years ago. The columns, one for each victim, are grouped together in Hyde Park in 4 clusters, representing the 4 separate attacks that took place in the summer of 2005. The parents of the murdered teenage actor Robert Knox, who was stabbed to death last year, have spoken of their pride and pain at seeing their son on the big screen in the latest Harry Potter movie. The young actor filmed his last scene just 3 days before he died. Simon Jones reports.
It's one of the most eagerly anticipated films of the year, but one of the actors, Rob Knox, will never get to see it. Playing the part of Marcus Belby, he'd already been promised a part in the next film, so impressed were producers. For Rob's parents, seeing him on the big screen for the first time leads to mixed emotions.
He's never going to return, and that's very hard to accept. I should have done. Naturally, I would just break down and cry. But I could see him actually enjoying the part. He was actually taking the part very well.
Robert Knox finished filming his last scenes in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince just 3 days before he died. He was stabbed on the 24th of May last year. On the 5th of March this year, 22-year-old Carl Bishop was jailed for life for his death. To highlight knife crime, cast and crew will tomorrow wear white ribbons on their wrists. After their private screening at the weekend, tomorrow the Knox family will come here to Leicester Square. Preparations already underway for the big red carpet premiere, but their big regret is that Rob won't be here to see the film.
I just wish he could have seen it, wish he could have seen it for himself. He'd have had every reason to have been proud. A very small part, but really well done.
Times like these, dark times, they can bring people together.
The family hope the spotlight the film has shone on his death will help them in their campaign against knife crime. Simon Jones, BBC London News.
Time to take a look at tomorrow's weather now with Wendy Hurrell.